Hello, YouTube. I'm doing this live because I don't know how much room I have in my camera, smartphone, whatever. So if you decide to comment, I doubt many people will. But if you do, I'm not going to be replying right away. I'll reply afterwards as if it were a regular video and I was replying to commentary. This is probably going to be a long one, so that's why I'm going with this. So the video won't just suddenly stop in midstream. Who would have thought? Yep, it's going to be one of those smokes, I can tell. It's not just going to take off. So hold on. Let's face it. Pipe smoking is not an exact science, or art, as it were. But it's been about a month since I last posted, so I figure it was way past time. Autumn in New Hampshire. I had to share that. I mean, is there any better state to be in than New Hampshire for the autumn? The White Mountains in my home state, former home of the old man of the mountain, God rest his soul. It's a prime tourist spot this time of year. So you can see it's just past peak down here. So the trees are probably bare up there. It's a 3-hour drive, 2.5-hour drive up to the White Mountains from here. So, yeah, what have I been up to for the last month? Basically working, basically reading. But yesterday, I had my continuing qualification at my airline that I work at. It's a legacy airline based in Atlanta. I'll let you figure it out. So I've been preparing for the CQ, I don't know, for the last, say a couple of weeks or so, like basically slowly packing for the trip, because CQ makes flight attendants nervous. I'm sure it makes the pilots have their own version too, but I'm sure it makes pilots nervous too, because it involves certification by the Federal Aviation Administration. I have to be compliant with all of the safety protocol that the Federal Aviation sets. Every airline has a version of this. They have their own version of their certification process. I once had the Northwest side, which is different, and now I have this side, which is different. Some things remain the same though, and that's door drills. Beg your pardon. There's two parts to the training. One are the door drills. We've got about 7 or 8 planes in our fleet. We have to show how to arm and disarm them, each of them for departure and arrival. Arming it simply means you arm it. If you open the door while it's armed, the slide raft will bust out and It's there to help evacuate passengers from an aircraft during a fire or any other kind of an emergency situation. I will say hello to Smoking Syed because he's a loyal viewer to a lot of people in the YTP scene. He's posting from South Africa, so I will say hello to that gentleman. Probably everyone's biggest fan base is him in South Africa. Very friendly, happy chap. Anyway, we have two types of two components to our main training. One is the opening of the arm doors and the evacuation drills, and we have these scenarios that we go through to see how we'd react during, an emergency situation, be it I don't know, an unruly passenger or a sudden decompression, or the one I had two unruly passengers fighting. So everyone dreads getting the red emergency. And the reason behind that is you have so much time to prepare for a red emergency, whether it's a ditching or whether it's a land crash or something like emergency landing on land. You have to prepare the passengers for evacuation, and that takes a lot to do in a little amount of time. So everyone dreads getting that, including me. But this year I studied for it. I looked at all the videos. I read the stuff in the manual. I used to go through it cold because there's just too much information there. You just get intimidated. Yep, this is going to be one of those smokes. You can tell. By the way, housekeeping. This is House Mixture, bought by L.J. Peretti in Boston, no less. I think it's one of the first tobaccos I ever bought when I was down in Boston. I didn't even think I looked like a newbie. This looks interesting. I picked it up and pretty nice. Those of you who smoke Judge's Mixture know what I'm talking about. So, the reason why yesterday I was successful in my CQ. The way it works is you have 2 attempts at a door drill. If you screw up the 2 attempts, you come back after school, after the day ends, and you do a 3rd attempt. If you screw up that 3rd attempt, then you have to try it again on another day. It's usually the next day. They send you back to the hotel. You hang out, you stress about your test the next day, and then you come back and try it. If you continue to fail, then you get taken off the line and you're marked as illegal. But it's after that 3rd attempt, if you're successful without going marked illegal. You get a special little name, a special little mark placed after your name, saying it's called FAA tracking, Federal Aviation Administration tracking. And now you're flagged. And now you have to come back 9 months later versus 18 months. It's just recently gone to 18 months. I'm sure to save their resources and to, because, I'm sure it costs a lot of money to set up annual training every year. Like all the teachers and all the mock-up equipment. I'm going to put this down because it's not really lighting up. But so basically, yeah, they hit a deal with the FAA to do it every 18 months, but to do that, well, these are the restrictions, and this tracking stuff is the restriction. So I slowly prepared for this over the last 2 weeks, slowly packing up my clothes that I'd be wearing, blah, 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 looking through my study guide. I still do the hands-on study guide rather than doing it online because I still need something concrete in my hand to read. So I'm like, just kind of like looking over each door, and you're trying to prepare yourself enough because you're afraid that they're going to throw you a curveball. So I did a fair amount of study. I didn't go nuts with the studying, um, but I still prepped myself. I sort of like gave myself a working knowledge of all the 6 scenarios they're going to hit us with, just in case I was hit with one of them, including the red emergency. I deeply studied the red emergency because it's the most complicated, but that's not the one I got. But anyway, I screwed up 2 doors, and one of the doors was how do I put it? It's the plug. It's the aft tail cone exit of the 717. You're sitting there, you have the little red strap, and there you are. They say, okay, this is the captain. Brace for impact. Okay, I'm like, bend over, stay down, bend over, stay down, bend over, stay down. Okay, then you get hit with easy Victor. So it means I have to get up, take my flashlight, stay seated, stay seated, stay seated. And then I have to look out the window to evaluate what it looks like out there. Is there a fire? Is it flooded? Is it safe for evacuation? And then last but not least, the captain will go, evacuate, evacuate, evacuate. So I open up the door, and usually the tail cone drops off, and then I start my evacuation through there. But this year, it was going to be a blocked exit, so I had to show the appropriate response for it. And the old airline I used to work at used to say, exit blocked, go back, exit blocked, go forward. And during my drill then, I did that twice. I said, exit blocked. But this airline uses bad exit, bad exit. So I screwed that up once, and I didn't know exactly why. Then he told me that's how they do. If you screw it up, they tell you what they did wrong. Then they airdrop, instead of giving you a little card like they used to, so you're not getting visibly shamed in front of your class. I don't care. So I have to come back after school, see? I don't really care. It doesn't embarrass me. So they airdropped that to my phone. And then the very next door I did was the A321. Yeah, the A321 door 3 door. Now, on every single last door that you do, the red manual inflation handle is at the girt bar, right at the door threshold that you look down, you pull the handle. Now, a slide raft is supposed to automatically inflate. This is just to make sure that it does. You're the backup, in other words. So you do that. So this time, the first time I open it, no red handle. Must be one of those automatically armed doors. Huh? So did that twice. Come to find out, this is the one plane that has the red manual inflation handle on the upper door jamb right next to the hinge where the door goes out. So screwed that up. Got that airdrop to my phone, and now I'm thinking, am I getting too old for this job? Should I be taking Prevagen? And yeah, and of course the whole time it took me the first drill to like get my brain going, because yeah, I mean, it's a lot to remember. It's almost, there's just so much information. You have to remember all these different responses to everything like that, and you're trying to get it right. So yeah, that happens. I got all the other doors correct. Some doors are simpler than others. So I basically moved on with the day. We did security. We did like body ergonomics so we don't injure ourselves, bringing up those heavy ass beverage carts. All that kind of thing. Security, learning how to punch this fake dummy called Bob in the face, just in case he starts trouble with you on the aircraft, that kind of thing. How to subdue a passenger with 3 able-bodied passengers, and how to put the tough cuffs on him if he gives you any crap. Hopefully I'll never have to deal with that ever, but they show you how to do it just in case it happens. Also how to do the AED, the automatic, I'm not good with acronyms, but it's the defibrillator machine. Like all the process to go bring it back in case you have a passenger who's like passed out and not breathing, the whole process to run and get all that stuff, and then you work on trying to revive them through electric shock. It's idiot proof in the sense that the machine does the work for you, and you're just making sure everyone's clear to no one else gets shocked, that kind of thing. So you had that. Then we did our EMVs. I just call them scenarios, and now I'm calming down the whole time. Now they're explaining, well, if we screw these up and we have to do it a third time, we have to do it after class. If you screw it up a second time, we have to come back for a third. So now I'm ramping myself into stinking thinking, and just kind of, I'm not really that worried because I studied all these scenarios, but still, I mean, If they don't do it according to how it says in the manual or close enough, then you're doing it again. So, yeah, I'm just kind of worried about that a little bit, but I got the unruly passenger one, so that wasn't too hard. And then at the end of the day, we went and to do our, what I call it, the breakfast club, our remediation, staying after school to do it. It was only 2, so I ended up doing it, ended up being okay. So that means I didn't have to go to the hotel and come back the next day to screw it. But you're so afraid you're going to screw up something else type thing. And the thing is, these things aren't that hard, but flight attendants, stews, I call them stews, stewardesses, not stewardesses, but stews for short, flight attendant stews. You still get ramped up a little bit because there is a possibility that you can fail. I mean, you'd have to really work at it to fail, but it interrupts your whole like workflow and your livelihood and everything like that. So you kind of don't want to be on that list. So every single time, it used to be every year, now it's every 18 months. Every time we go there, you just kind of get keyed up and you want to study, and then you're all checking with each other, making sure that all the information's this. I try to not do that because it just clutters your mind. And this time I kind of felt, man, my brain was moving slow. Am I getting too old for this job? Then all of a sudden, I get there with the other people that have to go back to remediation. There's like 12, 13, 14 people, including me. And they're all most of them in their 20s. And I'm like, okay, so it's not an age thing then. It's most of them in their 20s because maybe they didn't study enough or they just got confused, et cetera, et cetera. One guy I talked to, he said he didn't even, sorry about that. He didn't even read he didn't even study the manual, and he got caught out with the stupid stuff. So the things, I'm not blaming anyone but myself. For me, the first one was all about the old airlines nomenclature. And the second one was just about me not watching every single little last evacuation video. And so I will remedy that next time. Last year I said, I'm going to study the red emergency card, which I did this year, just because it is the hardest scenario. And I didn't get it. But still, it's good to know it in case it really does happen. And by the way, one of the flight attendants who had the red emergency actually had a real red emergency about 2 months previous. And she's by the window. Whoever sits at the window has more leg room because of the exit row. You have to verbally ask them, are you willing to assist in the event of an emergency? I need a verbal from you. Yes, 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 yes. Of course, everybody says yes, but they're only really there for the extra leg room. So when she said, okay, it's time for you to assist to make good on your promise, none of them wanted to do it, which kind of pissed me off a little bit. It's like, okay, we all know that you're there for the extra leg room, but an accident might happen. So if you don't want to assist in an accident, then give up the seat. But anyway, that's just my own little bugaboo. So, yeah, I succeeded. And then it was time to like go get the hotel bus. And one of the reasons I stressed out this year is because 18 months ago, when I got on that hotel bus, there was a flight attendant there who was crying. She was crying. I'm like, are you okay? It was, well, I screwed up like 2 of the things, and I screwed up on my third. Now I have to come back tomorrow and do it. And you're like, it just kind of like drove home how seriously we're taking this. And my heart went out to her because it's like, she knew, she did study this stuff and she got it wrong. And so now she had to go back to the hotel and say, hey, thanks for listening to me rant. I said, hey man, there but for the grace of God go on. There's another flight attendant there. Good one, WR. I like that. And she had to come back the next day, and the other flight attendant was there. She was just kind of like, what do they mean? You could tell that's what she was thinking. I'm not getting involved in this. I don't blame her because it's like, I passed. I don't need to be a part of this. But I get it. There's this poor person hurting, and she was frustrated. And so she needed someone to like hear her. So I was happy to take on that role. And I'm generally not like an empathetic, counselor-ish type of person, like Deanna Troi in Star Trek The Next Generation, the ship's counselor. I'm usually not that, but I could tell this person was kind of hurting and she needed to vent. And so that's what we do. I guess that's what it is. I mean, you can't be a saint all the time, but when a situation presents itself, you kind of have to try to be kind, I guess. But anyway, that's what I was all worried about this year, but it didn't turn out that way. So anyway, This year, I run for the hotel bus and I get on the hotel. It's right there. That's cool. Blah, 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 blah. And as I'm stepping, it's only like a 5-minute ride to the airport because it's right in the airport grounds. So I get out of the bus and all of a sudden I feel my pocket, my Sky Pro. My Sky Pro isn't there now. My Sky Pro is the thing. Yeah, you're right. We are. The Sky Pro is here now. The Sky Pro is all your announcement handbook is on, and everything. All the safety stuff is on. It's kind of a pain to replace and probably kind of expensive. So I'm like, son of a bitch! I left it back at the training center. So I looked at one of the people there. I looked, should I go back for it? Should I go back for it? No, I'm not going back for it. I'll have my base manager. My brain's all frazzled because all the bandwidth is gone towards studying this stuff. So I'm just trying to get back home. At Atlanta, the busiest damned airport in the world, I learned. And if you ever stepped inside of it, you could see why. So anyway, I run across the street right when the cross guard is letting the traffic go. He goes, man, your ass wants to get killed. It's like, I'm sorry. So because now my brain's all frazzled because I'm waiting in the known crew member line. They have that for crew members so we can bypass security. And even that's long. It's a very, very huge airport. So even that's long. So I'm trying to get a hold of my manager and I'm not getting it right. So I just here, why don't you? The missing Sky Pro is not the end of the world. So why don't we just calm down? Get past through security. I didn't get random. Being random means you have to go through regular security, which sucks. Because you kind of get spoiled by no crew member. But every now and again, per the FAA, you get random, and it happens to you all the time. So you just try to, oh well. It beats having to go through security every time when people are glaring at you because you're cutting in line. So KCM maybe enjoy my job a lot, known crew member, maybe enjoy my job a lot more. So having to go through the security line randomly is a small price to pay. So I'm going through that, and now I'm like, oh man, this shirt is all sweaty and gross. I've been marinating in this sweaty shirt. I don't want to ride on the plane in this shirt. Plus, I was leaving at 10 o'clock. I booked myself on an earlier flight. So I'm in the men's room switching shirts, and I put my company ID in my pocket. So then I come out of there, and all of a sudden now I think I left my ID. How you doing, Jim? I said I wasn't going to say hello, but it's impolite not to. So, so now I'm like, my brain's all frazzled because all the bandwidth has been used up. So it's like, here, just relax. You change your shirt, fix it. Of course, I screwed up all the buttons in the bathroom, so I had to fix it in the bathroom. I was half naked, showing my very sexy chest here in the bathroom while trying to fix my shirt and the whole thing, and just trying to take it easy. I get to the gate. I just get here. Why don't we just calm down? And Gary, why don't we do this? Why don't we check through our bags and see if your Sky Pro's in there? So I checked where I normally don't. I checked where I normally wouldn't put it, and there it is. I'm like, oh, thank God. Thank God I don't have to go through that with my manager. So then I basically, checked in for that flight and rode back home on a very full flight from Atlanta to Boston. Jammed up in the window seat. And just wanted to get home. Just tired. I wanted to get home, the whole thing. But this is one of the things, if you know you have a lot of travel ahead of you, it's best just to sort of slowly deal with it piece by piece, which is what I did. Did some reading. I was going to just sort of not, because, I'm too tired to read, blah, blah, blah. But Gary, there's no way you're going to survive without reading. There's no way you're going to get through this plane without reading. So I cracked open my e-reader, read a Ramsey Campbell novel, The Parasite. He's a horror writer, so 'tis the season. In a couple minutes after doing this, I'm going to do a couple book reports on my sister channel, The Scarlet Gentleman. The time is right for it. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much what happened. So when I got to Boston, I checked my bags because I didn't feel like, check the big bag. I didn't feel like looking for a space. in this crowd because you have all these people around you, and you're. I think I might be partially autistic because a lot of stimuli just kind of freaks me out, and I have to really work to control it. So I don't. All I want to do is get to my seat and not have to worry about the bags. And I get it. Some people don't want to give up their bags because they don't want to wait at the baggage carousel. But hey, when it was done, I just went there. There it was. Showed right up. So it was worth it. There have been times when I've lost the bag before, but it's few out of, like, say 10 times it happened once, maybe twice tops. So sometimes you just have to trust the system. So after that, took the crew bus to the Chelsea parking garage where my car is, and just drove home. Turned on the news, listened to that, National Public Radio. I just slowly made my way northward on 93 North. Got home at 11, said hello to my husband, said it was all over, I'm good for another 18 months, showered, went to bed. And that's been pretty much it. Woke up and I'm just kind of chilling today, paying bills. Finally decided I was going to do a pipe video because it's been a month. Love to be regular. And we have a lot of rivals in the YTPC, and a lot of them are young pipe smokers, which is great because this hobby, well, it needs new blood. I mean, it needs a fresh generation of pipe smokers. And I'm glad to see that happening. You know, as if I'm an old codger who's been smoking for years. But still, I've been at this for just about a decade, learning at my glacial pace. And I know, right? Learning at a glacial pace and still second guessing myself like any new pipe smoker. And all I have to say is thank God for the YTPC, because, man, people had to learn on their own, or maybe had a pipe mentor someplace, you know. But with the YTPC, you have a database of all these pipe mentors to help you out. So I'm very grateful for that. And I came into the mid-teenage years of the YTPC when it was just becoming a thing. Because when I first started doing this for pipes, it was just barely an idea. And the one guy I follow, I don't even think he posts anymore. But I will send him a Christmas card because he's the one who started me on my journey. Smoke Rings Pipe Dreams in Montana, Kel in Montana. And I said, oh, wow, there are people who are posting videos about pipe smoking. You check this out. Then you got to know people. You know, I discovered the same people that you all discovered, like Button Chop Piper and Matches 860. Of course, I discovered Matches just before he passed away. So like about a year before he passed away. And I wasn't at the pipe smoking journey. I could sit there and light a pipe with him and watch his videos would run for 35, 40 minutes to an hour sometimes. I just didn't have that kind of time to burn, unfortunately. But I'm here now. I like to think of myself as an actual de facto pipe smoker without imposter syndrome. And I've made many friendships as a result of the YTPC. One of them who's watching me right now. I'm gonna mention W.R. Kane. There are many people from all walks of life who are pipe smokers, but Mr. Kane is probably closer to me in mentality. He likes all the geeky stuff, like comics, and is very artistic. So I kind of warmed up to him pretty quick. And there's lots of people on the YTPC I basically set up some kind of correspondence with. A man relaxes. A man relaxes. Truck and Piper Bob. If I'm screwing that up, please, I apologize. But there's just people that I'll send the occasional note to, and they'll acknowledge on their emails that say hello, and that's how friendships kind of grow. So yeah, I'm very grateful for that, for the YTPC, for giving me another aspect of my personality to explore. And it's like actually led me into my booktubing. So it all just kind of grows in a natural way. And but I would like to be regular with it, more regular than I am, because you have people out there, like some of them posting 2 videos a week, and I'm like, I wish I could be like that, but I'm still feeling my way into being a pipe smoker, still feeling comfortable with socializing. And I haven't actually smoked, except for one YTPC I hung out with, I want to say like 6-7 years back. Holy Smoking Pipe Padre, Father Francis, met him out in California, and he took me to his the Briar Patch, where we had a smoke in a room. It was just him and I, and went out to dinner. And that's the only pipe man on pipe man experience I had. I'm too chicken shit to go to the local the local smoke shop down here, because I don't know, it just, oh my God, strangers. What do we talk about? And no, I guess that's my bugaboo, being awkward in social situations. And I know Pipe Smokey is here to kind of help us through that particular difficulty. But yeah, baby steps, baby steps. Anyway, this has gone on for half an hour, and you've all been very, very kind listening to me. And when this goes up, it's going to be it's all going to be uploaded as a regular video. So for I've got 4 people watching me right now. For those of you who have watched me, I thank you. And I'm sure I'll see other people on here when it's posted up, and all my regular subscribers are posting. Man, maybe I should do this live thing more often, because this could be my social interaction. Okay, folks, I'm going to leave it there, and now I'm going to go and do my book report for my BookTube channel. So stay tuned, kids. Have a good one. How does this work? Yes, I am certain I want to stop streaming.